welcome to Tween Tuesday. I'm Miss Cindy from the South Brunswick Public Library. So as we know, and as we are hoping, spring is right around the corner. The weather is definitely getting a lot nicer, and it's getting a lot easier to be outside for longer periods of time. But unlike a lot of people, I definitely do not have a green thumb. I am not super great at keeping living plants alive, but I do still like them. I enjoy looking at them. I like having them as decoration. I think they're cute. So today's craft is kind of based on that, where we are going to use yarn and a couple of other things to make pom-poms. Now, I've done this in a previous video when we made bookmarks, but in this case, we are going to take those pom-poms and kind of form them into a cactus. So you can have a nice living cactus, succulent plant or anything. You can have it as a decoration. You can, put them around your house, around your room, whatever. And you never have to worry about watering it too little, watering it too much, making sure it gets sun, anything like that. It is completely foolproof. And once you've made it, it is done, and that's how it's going to look pretty much forever. So let's just get to it. Okay guys, we're going to start on our pom-pom succulents. The only things you're going to need for this are yarn. I'm using a green yarn, obviously, for the cactus itself, and optionally pink for a small pink flower that you kind of sometimes see on the tops and sides of cactuses, cacti. I'm also using twine. You can use brown yarn, or any kind of dark yarn is fine. This really is just going to be kind of a base for at the bottom, so you don't technically need this. If you want just stuff fabric in there, anything is fine, but I figured this was a good color. It looks kind of sandy. Even though the texture is not as good for pom-pom making, it's fine because it's going to go in the pot, so you're not going to be able to see it. I'm also going to be using hot glue to attach these. You can probably also use fabric glue or tacky glue, and those would stick fine. I prefer hot glue because it works a lot faster. I stick it on, it only takes a couple minutes to cool, and then that's enough time for it to hold. But, not everybody has access to a hot glue gun. Not everybody wants to use a hot glue gun, and I totally get it. If you do want to get a hot glue gun, I bought mine at a craft store, and this cost about $3. It's pretty cheap to have. I have also tons of the little sticks, the little glue sticks that go with it, and you don't really need to use that much for stuff like this, so it'll last you for a good long time. But like I said, you don't have to use this. These are dangerous, they are hot, they are electrical, they're not for everybody. So again, you can use fabric glue or tacky glue. Those would work just fine. They'll just take a little bit longer to set. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to learn how to make pom-poms. I've actually shown you before how to make pom-poms on the Tween Tuesday video when we made bookmarks, but that was a long time ago and maybe you didn't see it. So I'm going to show you how to do it again. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab my green yarn. I'm not going to cut it off or anything. I'm just going to go from here. So you're going to take your hand, and I'm going to be using 3 fingers for this. This dictates the size that you want the pom-pom to be. I don't want the pom-pom to be too huge. I think 3 fingers is fine. So I'm just going to let this tail dangle here and go from here. It's fine that the tail fell a little bit. It's not a big deal. I'm going to wrap it. Now the yarn that I'm using is fairly thick, so I don't actually need to wrap it too many times to make an appropriately sized cactus. Don't let it squeeze your fingers too much, because then you end up with it smaller than you want it to be. Make sure you keep your fingers steady and firm. So I'm going to say that that's probably good. I'm going to take my scissors and just cut off the end. Then I'm going to cut off another maybe 6 inches. So now, let me just wrap this right back in. You've got your little yarn donut, right? So you're going to stretch it out, pull it, and again, go back in. Pull it straight. And we're just going to pinch it right down the middle. And that's what we're going to tie. We're going to tie the center I like to do one knot this way and then flip it, and then I double knot it on the other side. I feel like that makes it tighter and a little bit better and more secure overall. Okay, so now you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut the loops. Since this yarn is so thick, I kind of have to go in a little bit at a time rather than all at once. It really just depends on what yarn you're using. If you have small scissors or thick yarn, you might have to do it this way, but the end result is the same. You just want to make sure you get all the loops. Flip it and do the same. Loop one. And just keep going. Look around for rogue loops. And none. So now that I have it, you'll see it kind of looks like a mess. So I'm just gonna shape it up. And again, I'm making a cactus here. So I'm actually gonna try to make it taller rather than fully round and fluffy. So the two sides are gonna be shorter than the top for me. That way it'll be kind of more oval shaped rather than round shaped. And I kind of like to fluff it around in my hands to kind of separate the yarn a little bit and make it extra fluffy. I still have some ends here that could stand to be a little shorter. Same. So earlier I actually made a terrible pom-pom out of the twine. Like I said, the twine is kind of a stiff material, so it doesn't work well for a pom-pom. You can see exactly where the knot was, and you know, it doesn't really fluff. But that's fine because it's going right in there and you can't really tell. So the cactus is gonna go right here, right in the center for me. So again, I'm going to just use some hot glue. And just a little bit, just like a smear there. And stick the cactus on. Just going to kind of hold it here for a second. Let the glue dry. Maybe cut off some of these ends here. And it's stuck on pretty well. You can also stick on more to the sides if you want to make it even more secure. And that's what I'm actually going to do now. There you go. It's not perfectly in the center of the pot, but that's good because real cactuses and real plants almost never are either. All right, now we have that. And I'm going to move all the debris out of the way. Now we're going to make the smaller pom-pom for the flower. So same for the pink, except this time it's going to be 2 fingers. Again, don't let the string tighten too much. You know, keep your fingers loose. And this one I'm not going to do too many times either because it doesn't have to be very fluffy. So again, just cut it and cut yourself a small piece. So right through the center. double knot just because I can. All right, again, the loops. Whoop. Okay, so now you have, again, the little fluff ball. You're going to want to cut. Most of these. And like I said before, I like to kind of fluff it around. It gives it a good shape. So in this instance, I'm going in a circle rather than like this to make it longer, because it's meant to be a flower, so it's going to be more round rather than oval. So you see, that fluffed it really, really nicely. So now I can cut from here. I can get a better sense of what it's going to look like if I cut it a little bit at first, but then fluff it and then cut from there. And again, just circular. All right, you got a perfect little fluff ball here. So I think I'm going to put it right at this corner. So again, I'm going to add my hot glue. Just a bead of it there. Flip, plop it on and hold it for just a couple of seconds. Perfect. I'm going to trim my cactus a bit here. And again, just fluff it a bit. And there you have it. You have a no water, you know, not a plant that you have to take care of a lot, but one that you did make yourself. Pom-pom cactus. All right, you guys, that is it for me and this week's Tween Tuesday. I hope you learned something new. I hope you had fun, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.